and thank you.
Okay, we're calling to order the Finance Committee for the city of Hendersonville for July 25th. And can we go around the room so we can get a roll call and an idea of who else here? I'm Karen Dixon, Chairman of the Finance Committee and Alderman in Ward 4.
Mark Bergdorf, Vice Chair, Alderman, Ward 1.
Jeff Sassy, third chair, and Alderman Ward 3.
Go ahead.
Tamara Ingersoll, Assistant Finance Director.
Jana Garten, Ward 5 Alderman.
Terry Goodwin, Ward 4 Alderman.
Jesse Eckenroth, Chief of Operations. Jamie Clary, Mayor of Hendersonville, and I'm going to let Jesse speak on all the items because I'm going to have to leave here in just a minute.
Okay,
Ryan Dickert, Citizen, Ward 4.
great.
Craig Arden, Citizen, Ward 5.
Scott Ryan, Police Department.
Commander, right?
Yes.
Got it. I got it. Well, thank you, everyone. Can I get a motion to accept our agenda for this evening?
So moved.
Just a second.
Okay,
Jinx.
great. And so we'll vote on that. So if we're in agreement?
Yep.
Aye, yes.
Aye.
So the minutes for April 25th, May 26th, and May 30th, I reviewed those and I didn't see any problem. Can I get a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So our minutes are approved for those 3 days. Do we have anyone here for citizens' comments?
Did we have a sign up?
No citizens' comments. Okay, great.
Did we have a sign up? Did we have a sign up for him?
We don't have a sheet in here. We have one, but we don't have it in there.
I would think after
We'll need
today,
to- Yes.
once we vote that in place for BOMA, we'll have that after
Well, they
today.
had one for the previous meetings.
So moving on to ordinances and resolutions, we have the reading of ordinance 2023-16, an ordinance appropriating a violent crime intervention fund collaborative grant for the Sumner County region to be administered by the Hendersonville Police Department. I guess Mr. Eckenroth can speak to this.
Yes, I will talk briefly on it, but first I just want to say that Commander Ryan is heading this up for the entire county. We are extremely fortunate, the city of Hendersonville, to have Commander Ryan. His approach to crime, especially using technology to leverage solving the crime, is rather aggressive and keeps the residents of the city safe. So Hendersonville has been selected as the kind of applicant administrator for this. So I'll let Commander Ryan just talk briefly about what this VCIF grant will allow us to do.
Okay.
Maybe we should record it this time. That way we hit the play button later.
You have 2 minutes.
You're on camera right now.
We should
Smile.
just replay the last meeting. All right, so Hendersonville is the lead agency for this. It's a collaboration that involves 6 other agencies within Sumner County. And this is primarily a technology-based program that we're looking to implement. The system that's the primary expense here is known as Fusus, and it is a data and video integration program. It will enable us to engage the communities, not just the Hendersonville community, but communities throughout Sumner County, to develop partnerships in both the business world and residential world that will give us a lot of interaction with people who comprise those communities. And our hopes are to develop folks that would like to register their cameras within a system that would allow us to know where camera locations are, and also to install devices in key locations that will help us capture evidence so that we can solve more crime. The devices that I'm speaking of, there's a large number that would be utilized within the county, and it enables us to, from a computer in a car, from my laptop at home, from the office or wherever, we're able to see a CAD, computer-aided dispatch screen, that shows the calls and information as they come in. And it also has mapping. And if we have a device installed at a location, we will see a green camera icon. So when an officer's dispatched to a call and it puts him en route to that, these icons will start lighting up so that he or she knows if they have a hot situation going on, they can literally look at that situation live and in real time. The administrators, the sergeants and lieutenants that are on shift can also see that. People can feed that information to responding officers so that we can have a better coordinated response, a safer response, a well-informed response. And we can capture suspect descriptions and know what we're looking for, because a lot of times the bad guys are on the way out by the time we're coming in. If we don't know what we're looking for, we're kind of lost. So this system also enables us to upload floor plans, map layouts to different areas, and it allows for us to command a scene if we have something going on, and we have a floor plan. God forbid we've got something going on in a school and we have these floor plans uploaded. We're able to command that remotely and designate perimeters, inner perimeters, outer perimeters, assignments for specific personnel, and everybody's able to see that populate. As soon as you hit a button, everybody in the field can see that. That's where the Real-Time Crime Center name comes from. So we're able to do so much real time with this program. We also will have a camera registry, which will be a website where members of the community can sign up to register their individual cameras or their business cameras, and those cameras will populate on a map in a red color. So we know that a camera exists at that location. It's not a live feed, but we can draw a geographic area, click a button, and we send out a request to as many cameras in that area as there are with one click of a button. And that also provides a link for individuals to upload directly into an evidence vault in the cloud, which eliminates chain of custody issues that we have. So there are a lot of different facets to this particular program. So much so I could fill up the rest of the night talking about it. I'll refrain from that because we're probably going to have to talk about this one more time. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
We're well rehearsed before the end of this. Another part of this grant that is not a part of the PUSIS program will be the addition of 3 additional mobile cameras, the mass type cameras that can be quickly deployed for special event situations or active scenes where something's going on. We will be able to have a variety of deployment options, and those will be used on demand as agencies throughout the county see the need or develop needs for those.
So thank you for that, Commander Ryan. This is $663,000. Is there any amount that we have to appropriate, Jesse, or who, from the city?
We will appropriate all of it, but it will be reimbursed. 100%.
Reimbursed,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
100%.
Okay. And this is just an application. We haven't gotten the grant yet, right?
No,
You've
we've been
received the
awarded,
grant.
we've been
Awesome.
awarded the grant, but
Okay.
we must go through this process in order to utilize the grant. But
Okay.
it has already been won,
And
so to speak.
that $663,000 is just for Hendersonville?
That's for the
county.
whole county.
That's for the
Yes,
county.
ma'am.
Okay, all right, okay. Any questions?
So it looks like, go ahead.
No.
Okay, so it looks like we're partnering with other neighborhoods on this deal, right? Hendersonville,
It's
Sumner
considered a
County.
collaboration,
Okay,
and there are 6 agencies involved in the collaboration, 6 other agencies.
so
involved.
are we all contributing $660,000?
663 is the total amount for the entire county.
Okay,
We are leading the effort in Hendersonville, one-stop shop. We make the purchase, we get reimbursed the full amount. We remain the administrator for the devices that are utilized as part of the program and coordinating for the community development that
Are we
arises.
asking any buy-in from any of the other agencies?
Financially,
Yes,
no.
financially, no.
So what is going to be their contribution to this? Not necessarily financially, but what's their contribution?
They have agreed, and this is also by written agreement, they have agreed to provide points of contact within their departments that will report back the required information that we need to report accurately to the state and federal government, the results as we progress through this, accountability for the equipment that's utilized within each jurisdiction, and to provide the needed statistics that we have and engage and help coordinate with the community, because this is within the respective jurisdictions. This is literally too much for one agency to handle. And this was a competitive, collaborative grant. So this was the only avenue to source income for this type of improvement. All agencies would receive access to what I have described to you, but we technically are the administrators for the entire county in this.
And the process, go ahead.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You spoke first. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Now, the process for this requires the city of Hendersonville to submit this and own it, so to speak, the grant.
Yeah, talk to
There was a think tank that was put together on the front end of this whenever the governor's office announced that the funding would be available. Throughout this, there were obstacles or hurdles, if you will, with other agencies. And of course, not all agencies that are part of that have accessibility to that amount of money. And it was determined at that point that everyone was in agreement that Hendersonville would be the best option to take the lead as far as administrating this. Chief Miller agreed to it, said, make it happen. I made it happen.
Will there be any required training of the officers or the users of this equipment?
There will be training. It's not going to be an extensive training. This is an extremely user-friendly access to their program. There will be training in regards to how command staff have the ability to utilize this in command. But from a user experience, we're all accustomed to the field-based reporting modules. We see the CAD on the screen in the cars. This is just adding to those capabilities of what they're already using.
Okay. And will we need to hire anyone to facilitate this? Like to administrate
You
this?
got me for unlimited hours.
Really?
I
All
objected.
right, you heard it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'm calling the chief. So how long does this grant, for this program last?
If we're able to go effective by August 15th, we'll have 22 and a half months.
What happens after that 22 and a half months?
It's done.
Okay, so this is
Unless-
a temporary, go ahead.
Unless the state does an extension in some capacity, I'm not counting on anything beyond what we have applied for and have for this period. 22 and a half months, then we turn it off. Any individual agency that would like to continue, they're welcome to continue, but we have not obligated ourselves to anything past this 22 and a half month period.
Okay.
And then we have to return their equipment technically?
We would, but
Yeah.
essentially the life of that equipment is proprietary. It's not going to be able to be used for anything else other than there are some mass style cameras. Those will not be returned. Those will remain a pool forever available to agencies within this county. The equipment tied directly to Fusus, we will give that back to them because it's essentially about 3 years is all you're going to get out of that equipment before it's outdated and needs to be serviced or replaced anyways. So that will just save us the time of having to destroy that ourselves. We will just shove that back to the company.
Okay. The general committee just voted on this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This in the last hour. What was the outcome of that vote on the general committee? Do you
It was
remember?
a unanimous recommendation for approval.
All right, just wanted to get that on the table. Anybody in the room have any questions for Commander Ryan? Great. So can I get a
I
motion to?
move to approve or send to BOMA with our recommendation.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. That's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Now we have reading of resolution 2023-21, resolution to adopt the purchasing policy. And we've seen this several times. I guess we've been working on this for about a year, maybe, haven't we?
It's been a while coming, but it's
Yeah.
here now.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I will let you talk us through, maybe even tell us what, I think we had this approved by MTAS, right? They reviewed it.
Yes, this is to replace our existing policy, which was, I think, last updated in '98.
Okay.
And it relies on paper forms, the paper system. So we've gone through the municipal budgeting laws. We've reviewed this with MTAS, I think 2 or 3 rounds with MTAS. We've attached the forms that would be part of this package so we can make staff more efficient. So RFQs, RFPs, the common forms that we use, check requests and all those things. We have a template form and all departments can use them. It gives purchasing thresholds. It gives authority to who can approve certain items. For example, our current policy states that even utility bills have to run through my signature.
Mhm.
And it's really, kind of a lot of unnecessary steps when you have a recurring utility bill that a finance director can sign off for that doesn't have to go to the mayor or the chief of operations. So we cleaned up efficiencies, and we also put in limits that are appropriate for our city according to the new laws, and this just cleans it up and gets us current with today. And now the purchasing policy is also one that can be reflected in an electronic system. So
That was what I was going to ask. I
we are-
saw you had noted on here the updated electronic finance software is in
Yes,
the
sir.
works. Okay.
So we actually have implemented some of that system. We're going to continue to implement it, and this purchasing policy can be reflected in an electronic workflow as well. So we will probably continually come back with tweaks, but the purchasing policy was so outdated, needed a massive overhaul, which required all department heads to get together, MTAS review. Tamara came in, and she was able to give a fresh set of eyes on it. So she's done a tremendous amount of work. Finance has done a tremendous amount of work on this.
Great.
We think we're at a good place. And I think there was 2 things we wanted to also add to this. Is that correct?
I've got 4 things.
Okay.
Yeah, when y'all vote on it, we're hoping that with the motion, you'll give us direction to incorporate the final MTAS suggestions that I just got back last week from
Okay.
them. They're pretty minor
Okay.
in the grand scheme. We're hoping that you'll also provide direction to increase the bid limit from $10,000 as in the version you have to $25,000. That's kind of the industry standard these days. Tennessee TCA allows for the $25,000 limit, and then that'll increase efficiencies for staff. So instead of having to do a published formal bid after the $10,000 limit, between that 10 and 25,000, they would just need to go out and get 3 quotes and make things a lot quicker.
So let me explain that real
Yeah,
quick.
see,
So say there's a $12,000 item we want to purchase.
Right.
Right now, the requirement is for us to post a public bid. We pay for a newspaper ad. We put it out on our website. We give a 2-week period. We have a response period. We ask for formal applications that come into the city. We score them, we rank them. It is a lot of time. Typically, what we also will find is in formal applications, you will get less people who respond. So it can hamper your ability to get competitive bids, because for $12,000, you don't necessarily want to take the time out of your day to write a proposal to send to the city
Right.
to get ranked. So 25,000 is the threshold that a lot of people are used to for a formal bid. 10,000 is very low. 25,000 is more of an industry standard. So it will create staff efficiencies, and we will probably actually receive more competitive pricing because the insurance requirements and all those things that are in a formal contract would be attached to an $11,000, concrete pour.
And that $10,000 has been around since '98, right?
No.
I don't
That was
know if it
updated in like 2017, 2016,
Okay.
somewhere in that range.
25,000 sounds reasonable to me.
Too.
What was your first bullet point? Your first one
Oh,
was,
incorporate the suggestions from MTAS.
okay, and then you said increase the bid
The
limit.
bid limit, and then related to the bid limit, we have a requirement for for requiring a contract that's currently set at $10,000 to match our bid limit. We'd like to change that to $25,000
Right.
as well. And then the last,
I'm sorry, say that one again?
so we currently require a contract for services.
Oh, I understand, okay.
For items that hit the $10,000 bid
Got
limit.
it.
So we'd like to change that to correspond with the $25,000 bid limit as well.
Thank you. And your third one is?
That's the contract piece of it,
Okay.
the increase in the contract limit to 25,000.
Okay.
And then the last item, one of the new items that we have in this purchasing policy is a competitive sealed proposal item.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, so that's really if we have something that's a service that's somewhat unique, that there might be more than one approach to it, that price isn't necessarily the top factor, where you want to have some alternatives to provide a service. We can do a competitive sealed proposal as opposed to a bid that's based mostly on
So the proposal
price.
is less intensive
It's-
than the bid. Is that right?
It's not less intensive. It's just it's a different way to approach it. So you're looking at it as far as their capabilities and, their approach to accomplishing something, as opposed, and then price is included, but it's not the number one priority.
Right.
But
And I think it allows you to negotiate price as well.
it does allow you to negotiate.
So typically on a competitive sealed bid, it's very itemized. So we're going to get 10 units of this, and then each unit is X amount of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
For a proposal, it might be, hey, we plan to do X, Y, and Z service for X amount of dollars. Well, we could go in and say, well, how about we tweak the service a little bit and you give us a better price?
Yeah.
We're on a unit bid price item on a bid document. You don't have the flexibility to do that.
Yeah.
So this gives a little more flexibility to staff to negotiate some of the pricing as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the requirements in order to implement the competitive sealed proposal is that it has to actually be approved by ordinance as opposed to resolution. So we'd like your direction for when we take this to BOMA, to not take it in the resolution form that it's in, but to have it in an ordinance.
Okay.
Just the one section or the whole policy?
The whole policy.
That way
Okay.
it's one thing.
Yeah.
Because the competitive sealed bid requires an ordinance, we'll just put everything in an ordinance
Okay.
Okay.
and take it at one.
And then
Okay.
it's all in one document.
Great. Y'all have any more questions? I'm going to go ahead and ask for a vote
No.
with
I
these
don't.
4 items
No.
as a request to when it hits BOMA, right? Which will be next month, right?
Yeah, at the end of July.
So
Okay.
this will be a recommendation to add these at the BOMA meeting, right? This won't be added before the BOMA meeting, is that right?
We would add it
We would
before
add
the
it.
I
Okay.
think we should, yeah.
Yeah. So that way BOMA sees the final version.
Tonight or next meeting?
It'll be in
Oh.
August.
In
August.
August,
Okay.
it'll
be in
All right,
August.
good. So we get a chance to look at it, yeah.
So can I
Motion
get
to approve with those changes.
with those changes?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much for that. Great job, guys.
Yes.
Next, we have reading of resolution 2023-22, a resolution to adopt guidelines for our budget amendments. This is another one we've seen for a while.
Yes, ma'am. So this is really a resolution to try and keep us efficient. I think we've had success with doing a mid-year budget. So that was just implemented 2 years ago. And we were able to take multiple budget amendments and just condense them, consolidate them, rather than coming with 1 or 2 amendments at a time. We will come with an entire package, and then we can look at the revenues as well as the expense. So traditionally, if a budget amendment comes to BOMA, it's just, hey, let's increase expenses. At the mid-year budget, it's allowed us to also look at revenues to see, well, do we have the revenue that's coming in that's appropriate to increase these expenses or decrease? And that has worked very well to kind of consolidate. And as we've done that, it's drawn more attention to these onesie, twosies types of amendments that have come in for budget amendments. So we have identified 5 items that we said, these are the types of amendments that would be appropriate to bring outside of either the budget when we adopt it or the mid-year budget. And that is a natural disaster or emergency, significant donated funds or unexpected revenues, projects and grants that are time sensitive, the city's mid-year budget amendment process, and any other significant events justifying the need for such an amendment. So that will help staff.
For example, what's that? That's very vague, and
You mean any other
significant events just fine.
I would think so.
Tornadoes.
We
When
we
it's
have
natural
a
disasters, I guess.
yeah,
right
we
there.
have
That's
a
true.
we have a limb truck,
Okay.
and our budget's tight, and a boom and an engine goes out, and it's $25,000-$30,000. It's going to put us behind on a route if we don't replace an engine on it. We want to bring that to BOMA to say, hey, to keep our level of service current, we want to do something that's not. It's not like we can wait, because what we're trying to do is, if we can wait, if department heads, do your job to wait until we can consolidate these. If
Sure.
you can't wait, let's see if it falls under one of these categories. Otherwise, let's
This
just
would be
wait.
like a safety issue, if we had a safety issue
It
somewhere
could,
else.
it could
Yeah,
be a
could
safety
be.
issue. I think it would have to be significant enough to be a standalone item. And that's where
You mean a significant cost?
a significant
Event?
cost, or it's
Or
an
risk.
immediate,
Risk.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I
or the
wanted.
need is immediate.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, and we've really been practicing this, and you've helped us with that. So I feel like this is really nothing new, that we've been following this pretty much anyway. And it has really helped
I
the
would-
board be efficient.
I would agree with that. So I'm kind of wondering, what is the nature of this ordinance then? If we're, or resolution?
BOMA tasked us with being as efficient as possible, and this is one of the things that BOMA specifically tasked staff to
Yes.
do, is to come up with criteria so that we can have a consolidated budget amendment unless certain criteria are met. So we identified certain criteria to fall outside of the mid-year budget or the annual budget. So under these criteria, as a chief of operations, the department head would say, hey, let's do this. We have a budget amendment. I could look at criteria and know that we would still be in line with what BOMA approved because we're meeting the criteria that we passed in the resolution.
I fully support it. And again, I think we've been working on this for about a year.
I think we've been practicing this.
We've been-
This
Yes.
more formalizes the practice that
It
we already
does.
have.
Yes.
I just think since we're doing it already, I don't know that we need a resolution to do that, do
And
we?
I would be concerned that this could potentially, since we don't fully grasp, especially us, since we're kind of new to the process,
Yeah,
we don't fully grasp the needs.
I
But this could limit the ability to take action on something.
I don't
when
think it
could
will.
be-
I do not think it will.
Uh,
And I will say, because I'm sorry, but I've been on this committee for almost 3 years. And, the first 6, 7, 8 months, we were hit with constant requests
Sure.
to amend the budget. And it just seemed like we were going wild with our budget instead
Right
of
around circles.
holding off
Yeah.
until
Mid-year.
mid-year for our second revised budget or the next budget. So I see the need, and I was one of the ones that asked for this. So it's a resolution. It's not, it requires one vote. So I think it's a necessary evil that we need to have.
Okay, well, under the resolution or ordinance, what would work most effective in this?
I think the resolution's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or an ordinance is, you just changed something to an ordinance where it was going to be a resolution.
Mhm.
So that gave you more leeway, correct, as an ordinance?
No.
Or was it the ordinance you adopted?
The resolution that the last item we just did where we wanted to make it an ordinance was because it was required to go as an ordinance.
Oh, it's
So,
required.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so because it was required as an ordinance, which takes 2 readings, so it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
We just said, let's take the entire purchasing policy as an ordinance.
Oh,
So we don't
wow.
take a resolution and an ordinance, we just take one. With a resolution, it can just pass in 1 reading rather than 2 readings.
Mm.
And that is the reason why item number E is a little more vague, because we don't want to restrict actual needs that we have. So if there's a significant event that we need to amend the budget for, we've done some things this year to make our budget more efficient. We've added that insurance line item where if we have these, wind damage claims come in now, like we just had with
Already
parks,
used it.
we can use an item we have in the
Well,
budget.
I have a question
Yeah.
then. If there's something that an alderman wants to bring before BOMA, can we bring it up as a resolution to spend some money for something that our what do they constituents need?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This
All right,
is
so
more
this
for
seems, it's
staff.
felt
This is
restrictive.
more of the directors, guideline for the directors.
Okay.
And it I think it is helpful to keep us more efficient and do things in a timely manner. So,
Yeah, I still feel like this could affect the ability of the staff to do their jobs properly, and I just don't see a need for us to implement this because it could have lasting impacts that we don't foresee right now. And we're already essentially doing this anyways. So I'd hate to put word to paper for something we're already doing and then have it bite us in the butt later.
Mhm.
And so for that, I just can't support this.
that's okay. I hear you. Are we ready to take a vote? We want a motion?
I think, go ahead.
Can we get a motion to
Did you have something to say?
move to BOMA?
No, I'm not going to vote for it either because I think that it's
That's
something
okay.
that we just need to hold off on.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
No.
So that did not, it still goes to BOMA.
It can still go to BOMA, right?
It still does go to BOMA, right? Even though
doesn't-
we didn't vote to,
Recommend
BOMA
it.
recommend.
It's because it's just a recommendation. Yeah.
It still goes to BOMA.
Okay.
Great.
All right.
Great.
If the sponsor wants it to, and I'm sure Clary will want it to. So.
Okay, other agenda items. So we have been handed our sales tax analysis report.
Yep.
We'll let Tamara talk to us about this.
Alright, so I actually just today, we booked the local sales tax for June, so this is final numbers for June. It's still slowing down a bit from where we were early in the year, and it looks like it's gonna continue to slow down just a little bit more as well. I do have a question for you guys, not specific on the numbers. I have been looking at this, Jesse and I have talked a little bit about simplifying the format that we have on here. It just seems like there's a whole bunch of information from the prior year and the cumulative change and all of this. Do you find looking at the 2 prior fiscal years, year over year, useful, or would you like to just see last year, this year, and then the change?
I would like to just see last year and this year.
I like more information.
Yeah.
I'm
I love the
sorry.
way it is. I'm a data guy, so I love seeing.
That way we can see the trends.
Yeah, or would it be helpful to see like the prior to fiscal year total dollars and then the current with the change from prior to current, or do you like having this format that's on here with the year to the cumulative change from the prior years to current years. I want to provide the information that you all need, but if we can simplify it at all, we'd like to do that. So, I just
Can you
wanna-
bring us a sample
Mhm.
of what you're thinking
You bet.
about?
Yeah, do that.
I'll bring
That's
a couple of options
Great
next
idea.
Okay.
next
That's a
meeting.
good idea.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
So
That way we can look in both.
yeah.
Yeah, so-
then you can just let me know what you
Yeah,
prefer,
thank you.
and then
Appreciate it.
we'll do it that way going forward.
All right, great.
Great.
So for the local sales tax, like I said, it has slowed down. We came in just under 50,000 over what was budgeted. So our mid-year adjustment, we targeted it right on with what we ended up with. And then the next sheet you have is your state share
Sure.
sales tax.
Just to note on this, that year-to-date change is now lower than inflation.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's actually a decrease.
Yeah, it is a decrease this year now.
And that
This month.
that concerns me.
Yep.
That's worrisome.
Yeah, that's when we're gonna have to keep a
Yeah.
close eye on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we were all expecting that.
State share sales tax. It's also slowing down. I will say June looked a lot better than May because May was basically flat from prior year. So June did have a little bit of growth from prior year June. This one, the total budget, it did
Sure,
come
that
in.
goes a lot to our Parks Department over there. Keeping us busy out there.
I know, bringing in the revenues. The state share did come in a little bit over, about 700,000 over what was budgeted with the mid-year budget. So overall,
Okay.
our sales tax did, come in a little higher than what we had budgeted. Makes
Yeah, so
me,
we're we're 750,000 between both of them.
between both of them, and then we did budget a little bit more for FY '24 than we had in '23, and so I think with the way that these are trending, we're probably pretty close to being on target for FY '24 for what we budgeted, unless something significant changes.
Okay.
So we'll just we'll be monitoring it as we go through the year. Hotel motel is the next one that you have on here. Total receipts for the year were 393,000. This one is going to look a little bit different when we get into next year because we did create the new hotel motel occupancy fund
Right.
for next year. So the tracking on it will be a little bit different. I should be able to actually just pull reports directly out of the financial system because it's in its own separate fund, so we can see that. I'm going to play with it a little bit. I'll bring a couple of examples to see what works for you guys.
Thank you.
That's great.
But I think we should be able to simplify that just a little bit for going forward.
Okay.
Next year, well, FY '24, the tax rate it's 4% instead of 2.75 beginning in August. So we should see increase in that revenue. And Andy's really happy about that. More money.
It's already spent.
Mhm. Yep. And then the last sheet that you guys have
My
on here,
favorite.
My favorite
this is a new document that I put together, the analysis on our investment earnings. And so going back for last fiscal year, this is the actual amounts for the last fiscal year. That first column is what we've been earning just in our checking account, our regular account.
Mhm.
The second column is the earnings that we have now that we're investing some of our funds through Pinnacle. And then the third column is what we've earned through the LGIP. Last column is total. So overall,
Great.
yeah, nice chunk of money. We
Mhm.
had about 50,000 of that was budgeted for just the normal interest earnings on our account. But so we had about 300,000 that will increase our fund balance because it was not budgeted.
That's awesome.
So I'll continue to put something together for this each month as well, so we can keep an eye
Great.
on those.
Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Tammy.
Can you add a column to that shows the rate of return?
Yeah.
On there?
Yep.
Thank you.
I can.
Do we have any other business we'd like to discuss?
Just momentarily, I have a question regarding June 26th county meeting. Mayor Clary said that he would write a check for the undisputed amount owed to the county from the tax appraisal if the resolution is approved. So have we been able to pay the county any tax assessment money we owe them?
Not to my knowledge, we haven't issued a check.
Okay, all right,
No.
just wanted to see about that. That's all I needed.
Yeah, I was waiting for the go-ahead from the mayor before we process them.
Okay,
We need to ask about that.
Yeah.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in
Second.
favor?
all right.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned.